So I'm going to show you a few things that I think are very important, especially when we are working with Visual Studio Code or VS Code, as it's called. So I have this old project open here, and you will see something very interesting. Things may look a little bit different than yours. Number one, the text or the code is a little bit larger than what you probably will see on your own machine. That's totally fine. The reason why I did this is so that you are able to see clearly, okay? So you don't have to worry about that. Number two is that there are a few visual aids that you can see here. For instance, you can see that there's this yellow line that goes to the left and down and goes to the last braces there. Okay, all of these are part of extensions that we can actually add onto the VS Code. So that helps us as developers to have a better experience as we develop, as we build our apps. Okay, the beauty of VS Code is that it's such a versatile IDE or text editor, code editor, that you can use it to do different things, right? From web development to Flutter to Android development, doesn't matter. You can use it to produce a lot of different applications of different kinds of software. That's why it's one of those beloved code editor. And it's really light in a sense that it doesn't take a lot of space on your machine or doesn't hog a lot of memory on your machine, making your machine slower, right? So it's really light and it's a good candidate. All right. Now, the other thing you notice here that we have, for instance, these dashed vertical lines that show there. So all of these are part of extensions, right? Again, extensions in VS Code ultimately are plugins that will allow us to customize our text editor to our liking to make our lives much better. All right, so there are a few plugins that I would like to share with you. Okay, that's very, very important, and I think you should really have them. Now, I call them plugins, but in this case, they're called extensions. So let's go up here to, you can't see it, but it says View. If you click on View, the top, you see that we have these extensions there, menu. Okay, and you can also access that by, say, Shift Command X on Mac, and I believe Control Command X on Windows. But in this case, I'm just going to show you how to access this, clicking the buttons, the menu, and so forth. So if you click here, there it is. And you can see there's a lot of recommended, as they call them at the bottom here. There's recommended extensions, and there's so many extensions. And at the top here, you can see you can actually search for a certain extension. And this is the first one I would like you to install. The first one is going to be PubSpec Assist. So if you type here PubSpec, like that, Assist, something similar to that, you can see here we have a lot of things, but then you can see there's this PubSpec Assist. If you click on that, you notice that for me, I have it installed. That's why I have this option of disabling it or uninstalling it. So in your case, you will see something that says install, and I would like you to click on that to install and let it do what it needs to do. And you can see there is this GIF here that tells you exactly how it's used. And we use this extension as we move forward with our web app development using Flutter. Now, if you have done some Flutter before, which I assume you have, you will notice that the PubSpec file, pubspec.yaml, is a very sensitive file. That's where we add all of the dependencies to our project. Yet, it is sensitive in the sense that if you miss something or you add more space than you should, your application, your project will just not work. And it's real frustrating. But using the PubSpec assistance, as you can see here, it's really simple. All you will have to do is to type in a command, whatever you're looking for yeast annotation, for instance, or JSON. You can type as many plugins that you may want to install, or dependencies in this case, and then hit enter. And those are going to be installed and updated onto your project automatically without you having to go to the PubSpec yourself, that YAML, and then add those. Okay. Very, very important. That's number one. The second one that I would like you to install is the format on save, because you want to make sure that when we are typing along our code, if we hit Control Save or Command Save, we want to format our code so it looks good. Okay, so that's what we want. And so we're going to do the same thing still inside of extensions, right? We're going to search for format on save like this. And the next, it's going to be error lens. Okay, this is going to help you a lot. This is the first one you're going to see there. So what this will do, as you can see here, if you make a mistake or there's a semicolon that is missing or closing parentheses, it will tell you exactly that what is expected, what you missed. So that's very helpful, especially as you're typing along, coding along, and you forget something and you don't know where things went wrong. So I would install that as well. Do the same thing. Go ahead and install. If you already have it, obviously you don't have to do anything. All right, so the next one is going to be the bracket pair colorizer. I want to take this second one here, okay? The bracket pair colorizer 2. So this is really nice. You saw earlier is that it colorizes the pair. So you can see this one is the same color as this one, so that you know that the first one ends with the same color. So it's really helpful, and you can see this if statement here. These two have the same color, okay? And it has this very nice horizontal and vertical lines, just to give you that visual cue as to where things are, as to where you open brackets and where you close your brackets. Again, when it comes to Visual Studio, there are a lot of different extensions you could add to your ID, to your code, to your text editor that will make your life easier. But I don't want you to get bogged down with all these options. The important thing is that you're comfortable, it makes your life easier, and you can code, and that you have something to help you get to where you want, which is to build solid apps. And if there's any other extensions that I think are going to be helpful to you, I'll mention them and let you know as we go along. But these are, in my opinion, the most important ones for us to get started.